Hello everyone! So this is the last week that we'll be talking about books, and our last week's topic is interactive ebooks. I wasn't really sure what this meant. I wasn't sure if it meant an ebook that has animation in it or reads to you or whatever, and I didn't really have a whole lot of access to ebooks, so I had to use our new digital service to our library called Hoopla, where you can check out audiobooks, ebooks, music, TV shows, anything that you want through your library card. And they had a couple board books and easy books on there and picture books that I use, so I kind of had limited access, but I think I found one that I thought would work for the assignment this week. So this is called Fossil by Fossil, if you can see it. Oh, there it goes. Comparing dinosaur bones. I don't know how well it will show up on the screen, but it is a really cute book. I think they make this in paperback and as a board book, so I would be interested in purchasing it for our library because we have a lot of little kids that really like dinosaur books. Even if they can't pronounce some of the words in this book, they might really enjoy looking at the fossils and the pictures and the dinosaurs. And sometimes, 4-year-olds are way better at pronouncing dinosaur names than I am. So I think they would really enjoy this book. So here we go. Can you imagine what you'd look like if you were a dinosaur? You might be pretty funny looking, even quite scary. I don't know if you can really see that. On the outside, people and dinosaurs look very, very different. But on the inside, we're actually very similar. In fact, the bones that make up our skeletons are mostly the same. How do we know this? Dinosaurs are all dead, right? Luckily for us, some of their bones have lasted as fossils, bones that have turned to stone over time. Dinosaur and people all have skulls and vertebrae and ribs. And so this is a page that I think that would be really cool for little kids to zoom in and get a really good look at what that vertebrae and that skull look like. There we go. And we all have shoulder bones and arm bones and finger bones. And again, some of the text on here is a little small, but again, you can kind of zoom in a little bit and read them and get a really good look at some of that fossil work and the illustrations. And we all have hip bones and leg bones and toe bones. But some dinosaurs have extra bones in their bodies that make them different from us. Can you imagine what you might look like if we added some bones to your body? What if you had a bony ridge that rose up from the back of your skull and 3 horns poking up from the front? What kind of dinosaur would you look like then? A triceratops! Scientists think this dinosaur used its horns for fighting. The bony ridge in the back of it is called a frill. It probably helped a triceratops's neck and shoulders. So you can get a zoom in on the frill and the horns and the triceratops skull and skeleton. What kind of dinosaur would you be if you had rows of chunky triangle-shaped bones along your back, and you also had an enormous ball of bone stuck to the end of your vertebrae? An ankylosaurus. The bones on the end of this dinosaur's tail weighed more than 60 pounds. That's about as heavy as the average 7-year-old kid. Scientists think that this dinosaur used its club tail as a weapon. They think it could swing and hit hard enough to scare predators as big as a Tyrannosaurus rex. Ankylosaurus also had plates of bones set into its skin for protection, just like armadillo does. What kind of dinosaur would you be if you had flat diamond-shaped bones above your vertebrae, starting at your neck and continuing all the way down your spine? There we go. A stegosaurus. Why did this dinosaur have these plates of bones? Scientists argued about this for a long time. Some think the plates helped the stegosaurus soak up the sun and stay warm. Others think they might have just been there to impress other dinosaurs. Kind of like a fancy outfit. What scientists do agree on is that the sharp, spiky bones at the end of the stegosaurus tail were probably used for defense. What if we added lots and lots of extra vertebrae in your neck? And what if your vertebrae didn't stop at your rear end, but kept on going and going and going? What kind of dinosaur would you be then? A Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus was one of the long-necked dinosaurs, or sauropods. This dinosaur had 15 vertebrae in its neck and 80 vertebrae in its tail. From head to tail, it was about 88 feet long. That's about as long as 3 school buses parked bumper to bumper. What kind of dinosaur would you be if your arms were really small compared to your leg bones, and you only had 2 sets of finger bones on each hand instead of 5? Here's a big hint. You'd always have dagger-like teeth lining your jaw. A Tyrannosaurus Rex. This dinosaur walked upright on its 2 back legs like a person or a bird. Scientists think it might have used its puny front legs to help it get up after laying down for a rest. The teeth, well, you know what the teeth were for, right? Dinosaurs were prehistoric reptiles that lived on land, but they weren't the only interesting reptiles alive at that time. Others swam in the ocean or flew in the sky. Imagine that your skull ended in a very long, pointy snout, and your nostrils were way up high on your head. Not only that, but your arms and bones and legs were so short they looked like paddles. What kind of prehistoric reptile would you be? An ichthyosaur. I think I'm saying that right. An ichthyosaur were similar to dolphins. Not only did their bones look alike, but they were also warm-blooded, ate fish, and had babies that came out tail first, just like dolphins. They used their paddle-shaped limbs for swimming. How about if your pinky toes were really, really long and a membrane of skin was attached to these bones? What kind of prehistoric reptile would you be if this happened? A pterosaur. Pterosaurs were the first animals with bones that could fly. Sadly, we will never meet any of these animals in person because they are extinct. There is one type of dinosaur that has actually survived. You may have even seen one already today. What kind of animal would you be if you were a dinosaur living on Earth right now? A bird! Scientists now consider birds to be dinosaurs. Like the pterosaur, birds also use their finger bones for flying. Instead of flying with their pinky bones, birds use their first 3 fingers. So, if you want to find a dinosaur, go outside and look around. You're very likely to see one. So there's a little information here at the back. Talks about birds about dinosaurs, talks about the dinosaurs in this book. There's a little glossary here for some of the scientific terms that they use, and a helpful pronunciation guide. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any sound to tell you if you're actually saying the things right, but it's still pretty helpful, especially for a picture book. Sometimes picture books don't include all this back material in it. And then there's even more books. Oops, get out of here. There is a reading list over here of recommended books that kids can check out or teachers can look at if they're interested in finding out more about dinosaurs or reading more books about dinosaurs. There's websites, museums, just a bunch of, and then there's like the back cover here. So that was Fossil by Fossil, and I hope you guys liked that book. Okay.